wins when the son of the greatest martial artist who ever lived faces off against a broken-down karate fighter from the valley? I'm calling it now, but you'll have to wait until the final bell to see if I'm right. Because what happened in that octagon defied every prediction, every expectation, every love combat I thought I understood. The lights dim in the arena. Two figures stand at opposite ends, and I can feel the electricity crackling through the crowd like lightning before a storm. This isn't just another fight. This is mythology versus modern warfare, and I've got the best seat in the house. Brandon Lee, son of the dragon, carrier of a bloodline that changed martial arts forever, steps forward with the fluid grace his father made legendary. Across from him stands Johnny Lawrence, the troubled soul of the Cobra Kai dojo, now a man who's learned that sometimes the hardest opponent is your own past. I've covered fights for 15 years, but nothing prepared me for this moment. Brandon moves like water finding its path. At 6 feet tall with a lean, explosive frame, he spent his entire life living in the shadow of greatness while forging his own path. His Jeet Kune Do isn't just technique, it's philosophy made flesh. Every movement has purpose, nothing wasted, everything economical. He trained under some of his father's original students, absorbing not just the physical discipline, but the mental warfare that made Bruce Lee unstoppable. His hands are fast, brutally fast, and his kicks carry the kind of precision that turns defense into instant offense. But there's something in Brandon's eyes tonight, a weight. The pressure of legacy can crush a man, or it can forge him into something harder than steel. He's fought professionally in kickboxing circuits across Asia, accumulating a record that speaks to skill, but also to someone trying to prove something to ghosts. His weakness? Sometimes he overthinks. Sometimes the philosophy becomes paralysis. When you're taught that every movement must be perfect, spontaneity can become your enemy. Johnny Lawrence stalks the perimeter with predatory intensity. This isn't the cocky teenager from the All-Valley tournament anymore. This is a man rebuilt from failure, carrying scars that taught him more than any sensei ever could. At 5'11", with a wrestler's build and shoulders that have absorbed decades of punishment, Johnny represents something dangerous, experience forged in the fire of loss. His karate has evolved beyond the Cobra Kai brutality he learned as a kid. He's integrated elements from his battles with Daniel LaRusso, with his own demons, with the weight of being someone's cautionary tale. Johnny's strength is his unpredictability. He's been broken and rebuilt so many times that conventional fighting wisdom doesn't apply. He can absorb punishment that would drop other fighters, and he's developed a sixth sense for when opponents are thinking too much. His weakness runs deeper than technique. It's the voice in his head that sometimes tells him he's not good enough, that he's always going to be second best. But tonight, that voice is quiet. The referee's hand drops and time contracts. Round 1 explodes with Brandon immediately establishing range with lightning leg kicks. Johnny circles, patient, watching, eating the strikes like appetizers. Brandon's hands blur, a 3-punch combination that would have ended most fights. But Johnny's already moving, his decades of instinct pulling him a fraction of an inch out of danger. The crowd roars as Johnny counters with a brutal body shot that I hear from ringside, a sound like thunder contained in flesh. Brandon adjusts instantly, switching stances, confusing Johnny's rhythm. This is Jeet Kune Do in motion, formless, adaptive, impossible to predict. But Johnny's seen adaptability before. He's fought Daniel's crane kick, Miguel's parkour-influenced athleticism, Robbie's technical perfection. He doesn't try to match Brandon's fluidity. Instead, he becomes an anchor, making Brandon come to him. Round 2 sees the momentum shift like tectonic plates grinding. Brandon's speed is creating openings, but Johnny's pressure is relentless. Every time Brandon thinks he's established control, Johnny's there, crowding the distance, negating the space where Jeet Kune Do lives. A spinning back kick from Brandon catches Johnny clean on the jaw. The crowd gasps, but Johnny just grins, blood on his teeth, and walks forward. This is where experience becomes terrifying. The middle rounds blur into a war of attrition. Brandon's technique remains flawless, but Johnny's finding the pattern, the rhythm beneath the chaos. He catches a kick, sweeps the standing leg, and suddenly Brandon's on his back for the first time. The ground game neutralizes everything, but Brandon flows like his father's philosophy taught him, using Johnny's own momentum to escape, returning to his feet with the grace of silk unfolding. Round 7 brings the turning point I'll remember forever. Brandon lands a perfect straight lead, the signature strike of Jeet Kune Do that snaps Johnny's head back violently. For 3 seconds, Johnny's legs betray him, and I think it's over. The dragon's legacy will claim another victim. But Johnny survived worse than punches. He survived his own self-destruction. He steadies, shakes his head like a wounded animal refusing to die, and something changes in his eyes. The final rounds become legend. Johnny stops fighting Brandon's fight and imposes his own brutal will. He walks through strikes that should drop him, closing distance with the inevitability of a closing door. Brandon's speed remains, but Johnny's learned the most dangerous lesson. Sometimes you have to be willing to take damage to deliver devastation. With 40 seconds remaining, Johnny catches Brandon in a clinch, years of wrestling experience taking over. Knees to the body, elbows to the head, the kind of savage infighting that turns technique into survival. Brandon tries to create space, but the well is dry. His philosophy can't help him now. The final bell sounds. Both men are standing, bloodied, transformed. Johnny Lawrence takes the decision, unanimous. He wins because he understood something fundamental. Brandon fought to honor a legacy, but Johnny fought because he had nothing left to prove to anyone but himself. That freedom, that release from expectation, made him unstoppable. Brandon's technique was superior, his speed undeniable. But Johnny's refusal to accept defeat, his ability to absorb pain and convert pain into purpose, that's what determined this night. Two warriors won historic battle. Sometimes the dragon's fire meets the cobra's strike, and the one who walks away is the one who's already died and come back.